In March 2019 I took myself off for another cycle tour. This time it was around southern Portugal, an area called the Alentejo, which is sort of south of Lisbon but north of the fairly busy, I understand, fairly cyclist unfriendly Algarve area. It's a very isolated, sparsely populated area, and on the face of it is very good for cycle touring. So I found my way to Lisbon, crossed over the river, and then from Barreiro took a commuter train out to Pinhal Novo, and then cycled all the way through to Alcácer do Sal, and then eventually across to Evora, down here to Monsaraz and Murau on the Alentejo reservoir, then down through Mura, across to Serpa, where unfortunately I found the campsite was closed, so I did a wild camp further along this road here. Down here into the Parque Natural do Vale de Guadiana, which is the area for the Iberian lynx. Passed through Matola and eventually got over to Castro Verde, where there's quite a good campsite there. Spent a couple of nights there. Then a long leg out west to the coast, through Odemira and down to Zambujeira do Mar, up past Cabo Sadao, and eventually up to Porto, and then onwards past Sines, which is one of the main ports in Portugal, up this sand dune coast here, all the way up to Troia along this peninsula, crossing over to Setúbal, and then eventually making my way over the Sierra de Arabiada, or Arabida, and then down into the southern suburbs of Lisbon, really difficult cycling area, eventually crossing back over to Lisbon. That's 10 stages basically, but I had a couple of nights in Castro Verde, so overall it was a couple of weeks that I took, with a couple of free days up in Lisbon at the end. I largely followed the guidebook by Hugh Thomas, the Alentejo Circuit, part of the Pedal Portugal series. It was a very good reference book, and I enjoyed the detail that he put into the book. Some of the maps and the explanation, they were very useful to have. I followed the route that he devised all the way out to the coast, but instead of going back inland and finishing back up at Evora, as described in the book, I went all the way up the coast here back to Lisbon because it made more sense for me to do that. Anyway, hope you enjoy what follows. If you like, please give it a thumbs up, and if you can, want to consider subscribing, please do so, and also check out some of my other cycle touring programs on YouTube as well. Thanks again. So this is day one in Lisbon, outside the Ibis, and they've very kindly agreed to keep a hold of my bike box. So I'm all loaded up and ready to go. Let's see where we can get to today. So just cycled up into this park, and I'm heading in the right direction. I want to get down towards the estuary down there, and then cross over and head out into the distance basically. But it's a nice morning. It's sort of showery, but seems to be clearing up. Let's see how it goes. From the top of the town I cycled down to the Praça do Comercial, which is shown here. Really nice views across the river down to the big suspension bridge. From there I made my way to the Terrano do Pacho, which is where you get the ferry boat across the river to a place called Barreiro, and cycled on down to Alcácer do Sal. Well, good morning. It's day 3 now, and today's plan is to leave the campsite here. Really nice place. There's the the shower block over there, nice hot showers. So today I'm in Alcácer do Sul and I'm heading towards Evora. I think it's about maybe 50 kilometers, so I'll head that way. And I've just made myself a coffee in my new cup, and I had some beans from yesterday, and I used some tomato puree to make a kind of tomato sauce, and I've added some chili flakes and a little bit of a stock cube. So that's my breakfast. I've got a couple of rolls here, and the handle's fallen off my pan, so I'll have to sort that out. So that's breakfast in Portugal. Great. So I'm on the N380 to Evora. Long straight road ahead. It's just typical countryside that I've been riding through this morning. Just sort of like pasture land with these oak trees in. Well, good morning. Today I'm in Evora, looking towards the cathedral and some Roman architecture there, and I'm heading off towards Monsaraz, or maybe Murau. It's about 50 kilometers, which will be quite nice today. It's a little bit overcast, cool this morning, but hopefully it'll warm up as I get on. There's the bike already. So the weather's really brightening up now, and that's the view back to Evora. A really interesting place. Although I didn't really have, these cars go by, didn't really have too much time to explore it, but nice place. I'm riding up this road here that's really rough. It's barely a track really. I'm surrounded by this sort of almost like medieval landscape of green pasture and cork oak. It's everywhere. At this time of year, it's March now, it's lovely and green, as you can see. There's the road ahead. Got to watch the potholes here. So I'm on the outskirts of Reguengos, and I have to get myself some shopping. It's about gone 2 o'clock, so I'm stocking up for camping tonight, right on the edge of town. You see the bike now is fully laden. It's about as heavy as it's ever going to be, I think. I've got some extra water in case I can't find a campsite. Doesn't look like there's a campsite around here. I've got about another 20 kilometers to go, and there's a nice view over here of the countryside around, the vineyards of the Alentejo. The road to Monsaraz, which is just the top of that hill over there. So here I am arriving in Monsaraz. I've been climbed up a fairly steep road to get there. It's a medieval village, as you can see, perched on top of a hill with great views across the Alentejo plain. Very atmospheric place, very close to the Spanish border, and lies at the top end of the Guadiana River and nearby Alcueva Reservoir. Great place. Road ahead. The view looking back. Having cycled for quite a long time, I was now looking for a campsite, but there were no obvious municipal campsites or private campsites around. So I found a little island in the Alcueva reservoir and got off the highway, got quite a way back from the highway and found a decent place to put my tent up. So here I am, wild camping. So this is my wild camp for tonight. I'm cooking my dinner just before the sun goes down. It's tuna and onions and a tomato in there, and then I'll cook some pasta to go with it. That's a lovely sunset to end the day with. Oh, another day and another hill village, Murao, on the horizon. Beautiful. So this is the castle at Murao. It's rather steep, so I've left the bike down at the bottom. Alright, so I think the guns are pointing towards Spain. Spain is just over there. Just loads of olive trees here. Mile after mile of them. Olives galore. Mura Povoa. So this is the Alcueva Reservoir, and I'm just reading from the guidebook, Pedal Portugal Alentejo Circuit by Hugh Thomas, which is what I'm following. He basically says that the dam was agreed way back in the 1950s as a way of generating hydroelectric power, but it was only in 2002 that work began and finished in 2012, and it covers 250 square kilometers and has inundated countless farms and prehistoric sites, and apparently the home of the Iberian lynx. And it is certainly huge. I've been riding alongside it off and on for ages now. I stopped for a picnic lunch at Mura, as you can see in the park there, and then cycled on to a town called Serpa, where I hoped to find a campsite. Unfortunately it was closed, so I had to cycle on and find yet another wild camp. Fortunately I struck lucky there. I'm just getting up now. It's about 6:45. The sun is literally just coming up over the horizon there. So this is where I've spent the night. Outside the fence there, but I'm keeping pretty quiet. The nearest house is away over there. So I left Minas de Domingos and I just a nice gentle curve in the road, quite a bit of Sunday traffic, but at least no HGVs. Look at the eucalyptus trees, they're beautiful. Big hill back there though, carrying a lot of weight, but the downhills are good, you don't need to pedal then. So, can't believe how good the weather is for March. Fantastic. In nearly every village there was a water supply, usually in the centre, and you could fill up your bottles. And obviously cycling in blue skies and hot sunshine tended to use a lot of water. But in this instance there was a winding handle kind of mechanism which took me a little while to get the hang of. But once I'd mastered it, I managed to get a bottle full of water, just the job, and it was nice and drinkable, no problem at all. Results. And so I continued on through the rolling terrain and the olive fields and onwards towards Mertola and eventually Castro Verde. Why not join me in part 2 where I'll describe the route from Castro Verde over towards the coast and back up towards Lisbon, completing the circuit. Thanks for joining us on this one. If you've liked it, please give it a thumbs up and maybe even consider subscribing. Cheers.